was in retail management for 7 years.
Whoa.
Why are you making so much money for somebody else? It's like when you could be making it for yourself. And I'm like, why am I doing this? Work takes up such a huge chunk of your life. And if you're doing something that you're not happy with, I encourage people that are not happy with what they're doing. And if they want to start that business, I say just take the leap. I didn't know if this was going to work out. And if it works out, great. If not, like I'll figure something else out. Life is too short not to take the leap.
That does come with sacrifices.
It does.
And one of those includes losing friends.
I'm a firm believer everything in life happens for a reason. And so you just never know when you're going to have that moment. As long as the consistency is there, it's just not forfeiting it before you can even reach your potential.
We're the worst critic of ourselves.
We are. We're all so hard on ourselves. It's just being surrounded by people that lift you up and give you praise. Remembering too, I think of how far you have come, and looking back, I think is something that's really helps you stay inspired and know that you do the good work. Nothing makes me happier than to see a business thrive. That's something that you really have to have in marketing, and if you don't have that, it's almost like a missing piece. You don't have that passion for the business that you're helping. Why are you even doing it?
That little girl of you, what would you say now that would make her feel like everything was worth all the pain?
I guess I would just say that I'm happy that I sticked it out, because there was times I didn't know if I was gonna make it through. Just know that you're always loved, that you're important, that you're not worthless. Keep holding on, because it does get better.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode with the one and only
Katie Anderson.
Katie Anderson. I will just say a little bit about her. She works with her own company. Well, she is the CEO. And she had, fun fact, in her office, there is a tagline on the desk that says, I'm CEO, bitch. In a good way.
Yes.
All right. She knows what she's doing. So she basically is a social media agency. And bro, you do a lot of good work.
Thank you.
And that's not just a throwaway line. We actually mean that.
Thank you.
And she does a lot of social media stuff, as well as catering to so many clients that you guys are going to learn a lot from her. But first, we're going to dive into her life. But before we even do that, Katie, say some few words for our audience. Introduce yourself.
Okay.
And what your socials are. Okay.
Well, I'm Katie Anderson. I'm the CEO of Let's Get Social. Our Instagram for Let's Get Social is at Let's Get Social 30A. And then my personal Instagram is at Katie on 30A. I'm excited to come on here and talk to you guys about how I got started with everything and just my inspiration and about women in business. So I'm very excited to talk to Kina about all those things.
You know, drinking water. Water? But yes, Let's Get Social. Also, did you bring your website? Did you say your website?
Oh, yeah. My website is letsgetsocialsociety.com.
Yes. We're going to start a cult. Let's Get Social Society cult. Katie, thank you so much for making the time, by the way.
Course.
She just got back from where?
Hawaii.
How was that?
It was amazing. It was much needed.
Okay,
so
why?
I needed to rest and relax and take some time off of work. So
What was the one thing that you were looking forward to after you finally got your rest? Coming back to the life of a CEO.
I'm just excited to get back, and I love work, so it's hard for me to step away from it.
Yeah.
So I was excited to come back and kind of dive back into everything and catch up with all of my leads and clients, and just start posting again. So.
Watch her account, okay? She's gonna start popping off. That is why, guys, I recommend for you to, if you're looking for a consultation or any services related to social media and you have a brand that needs to get worked on, please feel free to reach out to Katie and her Let's Get Social company. They provide 100% customer satisfaction guarantee. Do you have a 30-day back guarantee?
Yep. Yeah. 30-day back guarantee.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There you go. There you go. But Katie, so we're gonna do a flashback. Where were you when you were born, and how did you come to be on this dark? Well, I don't know what weather it was when you were given birth. But
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell us. Take us back to that day.
Well, I was born in South Carolina, in Georgetown, South Carolina. So that's where I'm kind of from.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
So.
And did you go to school for, what did you go to school for actually?
I went to college.
Okay.
I went to college for business administration. So that's what I went to school for technically. That's what my degree is in. So
What drove you to that?
I kind of always have known that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. So I kind of knew from a young age, like even when I think I was like 12 or like 11, I would make like homemade dog treats and like sell them on the side of the road and go to people's doors and like knock down their door and be like, hey, I made homemade dog treats with like peanut butter and like honey and would sell them. So, and then I wanted to have like a nanny company when I was like 16 or 17.
What the fuck?
So I've always kind of known that I've wanted to do something with my own business.
What was I doing at 16? I think I was playing just Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, I was like cold calling and knocking down doors and
oh my gosh.
So it started at a young age for me.
Were your parents were you inspired by your parents in
my
some way?
dad had his own company for a long time. He actually has his own marketing company now that was inspired from me. So he has his own marketing company in the Tampa area, but he's always had like some kind of his own business, and I feel like he's always kind of been like a hustler. So I think I've got a lot of that mindset from him and seeing him work. So I think a lot of that did come from him.
But see, I have a question because, like, okay, most of us probably had some kind of entrepreneur opportunities, like selling lemonade drinks.
Yeah.
On the side of the road.
Yeah.
Did you, when you were at 16, growing up, a lot of us have childhood memories where usually for the majority of the people, we just go out and play and be kids. But for you, it just turned out, nope. Dude, oh my gosh. You know the movie Boss Baby? That's what I've seen.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That's what I've seen.
Yeah, I love that movie actually, yeah.
You popped out and you're just like, okay,
I'm ready to go. Ready to go to work.
Time to do business.
Yeah.
But so, did you feel like when you were growing up, having that mindset, did it feel like, you felt like you were out of place with most other kids?
I still feel that way at my age because I'm 27, but I feel like I have the maturity and level of like a 40-year-old. So I've always kind of felt a little bit more mature than those around me, and that's just kind of been the norm in my life because I will say I did have to grow up very quickly in my childhood. So I think that's something that really has made me who I am.
Did you feel any sort of moments where you wish you could have experienced childhood like a child would?
I wish, yeah. I definitely wish I would have had a different childhood, but I don't think that I would be as successful as I am now without going through what I have gone through.
But no, with the childhood, it's like when you think about those times, have you been able to work on yourself to avoid or at least give yourself some kind of what's that word? Remembrance or
grace?
Reminiscent? I don't know how to say that. Reminiscence. Guys, I have speech impediment. I have hearing aids. Okay. It's like it's a word that means you look back on it and you try to somehow bring the inner child that you have now. What are you doing right now that brings back the inner child that you never had in your early childhood?
I've always been a huge believer in therapy. I have a therapist that I go see like regularly, and I've been doing therapy since I was 15. So I've been doing it for a long time, and I definitely am a firm believer in that, and meditation and yoga and all the things. So
I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, thank you.
And no, that's not a throwaway line. That I mean that. Okay, all right. We're friends and behind cameras.
Yes.
I promise. but okay. So with therapy, this is actually an interesting thing. From your perspective, there's this sense of stigma around therapy for most people.
Yeah.
But when people think about CEOs, when they think about successful people like you, most people are like, oh wow, they're fine. They got everything covered. They got all this. They're fine.
Yeah.
What would you say to in response to that?
It's a lot of pressure.
Okay.
On yourself.
Okay.
Not only on yourself, but if you have a team, like there's pressure on you for them also because you have to provide for them in a sense. So I think whether you own your own business, CEO, entrepreneur, whatever you do, I think everybody should go to therapy. I think it's just healthy for your mind. It puts your mindset in a good place. Everybody thinks like, oh, you're successful, you're fine, like you're mentally okay. Like I just think it's important to do a check-in, like because sometimes you can get so busy and there's so much stress that it can be overwhelming for even the most mentally sane person ever. It can still be overwhelming. So I think it's just important to, mentally check in and have that session and be able to talk about things with someone. So
that's hard too, because like sometimes the first step, I feel like the first step to work towards therapy and getting better for yourself is like acknowledging that you do have problems. But it's so hard because a lot of us have ego.
Yep. It's a pride thing.
Yeah.
It's pride and ego. And that's definitely the first step is, recognizing it and being like, but we're all human at the end of the day. And we all, like, nobody is perfect. So once you kind of realize that, it's easy to take a look at yourself and be like, I want to be a better person.
Yeah.
And then start working on things.
Guys, it's like Hannah Montana, okay? You can get the best of both worlds, but if you want to do that, you have to work on yourself. If you want to be like a superstar and still have a healthy lifestyle in a personal life, be like Hannah Montana.
Nobody's perfect.
The best of both worlds. Well, was there one thing during your therapy session that made you surprised about what you learned about yourself?
I guess just like recognizing thought patterns, like how I feel like everybody kind of has a cycle that they run in, and you don't really realize the cycle sometimes that you're doing until somebody else points it out. And then you're like, oh, but then once they point that out, you're kind of able to almost like catch your thoughts before it even goes in that direction. And that's been something really cool, to be able to catch my thoughts before I even enter that cycle. And that's something that's definitely brought a lot of healing.
What were those thought patterns? Were they more...
Just like a negative like thought pattern. Like I feel like everybody kind of has, something, but for me, since a young age, like I've kind of been told like, oh, you're not good enough. And so then you kind of just go into this thought pattern and you kind of just spin out of control. But if you're able to kind of catch that before you start going into it, it makes such a huge difference.
Yeah. But the thing is, we're all creatives here. We're the worst critic of ourselves.
We are. We're also hard on ourselves.
Okay, can you spill the secret to help us break that voice of the critic? You're not good enough. Your work's so bad.
I think we all have that inside of us, but I think a lot of it too is just being surrounded by the right people. That's kind of what I've learned, and especially in the last couple of years, it's just being surrounded by people that lift you up and give you praise. I think that's something that definitely helps kind of quiet that voice. But then remembering too, I think of how far you have come. And looking back, I think is something that's really helps you stay inspired and know that you did good work.
I want to actually have an argument about that specific segment later on about how you combat social media and catching and seeing the highlight reels of everybody you look up to and that specific sentiment. So stay tuned for that argument, guys. It's going to be freaking awesome. But going back to, before therapy though, what your parents like... Most parents would want kids to grow up and be financially stable, especially after they pass. How did they learn to accept that the choice that you have made for yourself to pursue a career that is not typically within the norm of what they're used to? Like you have doctors, you have engineers, they're all guaranteed. But how did they learn to accept that? Okay, my daughter is gonna be a social media agency. Okay. How did they do that?
Like it's so hard because my parents are older. So my dad is like 61. My mom is just turned 60. So it's something so hard to explain to the older generation. Be like, oh, like you're on your phone for a living. Like, oh, you get to stay home every day. And I'm like, no, not really. So I think that in the last couple of years, especially since I've been growing and I've actually brought them to like some events with me and stuff like that, I think that they've seen kind of how much work goes into it. And I think that they're definitely proud of what I have built. So that's really cool to see. But I know they're excited for me because it's, it's not the norm, but it's something that I'm building to last. So it's exciting.
Was there a moment that you can think of when you're parents said, you know what, Katie? I think I was like I had the wrong idea. Now I can see why.
Probably within the last year.
Last year?
Yeah, last year they've really kind of, even in the last few months, really, they've been like, wow, like, that's like, you do a lot and I'm proud of you. Like, one of the things that me and CJ, when we went and spoke for the chamber, for Long Beach Chamber, for the charity is to help them out. My dad messaged me, he's like, oh, I'm proud of you. So it's just things like that are really awesome. So.
Well, okay. Question. Okay. I'm gonna dive into a bit of a history. So my parents are all like, actually my entire family are all doctors.
Oh, wow.
I'll let that sink in for a second.
Yeah.
It's not like Grey's Anatomy, guys.
No, literally, yeah.
But it's something that I've carried and burned for so long. And how did you learn to accept that what you do is good enough? And what can you say to people, especially with disabilities? Because that's who I'm trying to inspire with your story.
Yeah.
What could you say to them when it comes to making a decision that could literally change their life for the better, but they feel held back by how their family might perceive them?
I think that life is really too short to kind of like care what other people think. I think that it's important for you to be happy and for you to do what makes you happy, especially in work. Like, work takes up such a huge chunk of your life. And if you're doing something that you're not happy with, like, for example, I was in retail management for 7 years.
Whoa.
And my goal, this is a backstory, I wanted to be, let's go back. I wanted to be a district manager because I worked at Michael Kors for 5 years. And I was like, oh, I'd love to be a district manager. And that's kind of where I saw myself. But then it got to a point where I was working like every holiday and I wasn't able to spend time with my family, and just really it kind of took over my life. And I was just like, I'm just not happy anymore. And I encourage people that are not happy with what they're doing, and if they want to start that business, I say just take the leap. Like, I didn't know if this was going to work out. I had no idea. I took out a $5,000 business loan, and I was like, I'm just going to do it. And if it works out, great. If not, like, I'll figure something else out. But I think life is too short not to take the leap. So that's my opinion on that.
I hope you get inspired, guys. No, you are inspired. If you are inspired, let us know in the comments. But that's actually crazy. The retail, because like, okay, the other thing that I don't actually enjoy what people do, especially the common people. Okay, I feel like that might be a wrong way.
Common people. Other people. Yes,
that's true.
Let's not say common.
Most people, most people don't respect that type of job, and like, it's just something that most other people might need to get by.
Exactly.
But how, for working for a retail manager for 7 years, what did you learn about that experience that helped you make this company, Let's Get Social, rise up to the freaking sky?
I definitely think leadership. I learned so much about that since I was in retail management for 7 years, like how to deal with people and how to motivate people, and how to balance friendships also with working relationships. And I think I learned about that, and also just I learned a lot about people when I worked in retail, because you see people every day, you have to talk to them, you have to sell things to them. So I learned a lot on how to communicate to people, and then how to not only sell what we were selling, but also sell myself. So I learned a lot in the sales perspective when I was in retail as well.
How did that blend between the fact that you went to school and graduated with a business, did you say marketing or?
Business administration.
Business administration. How did that blend in that world?
So whenever I was in retail management, I was actually still going to school full time online.
Jesus.
So
you were a manager?
At one time.
Oh my gosh.
At one time I had 3 management jobs and I was going to school online. And I somehow kept an above C average, which I still don't know to this day how I survived. So yeah, I was literally working 3 different retail jobs at one point and was going to school full time.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that was like in 2019. Yeah.
Bro, that's not even a long time ago. That's so recent.
Yeah.
Okay, that just unpacked a lot of things. Okay, we're going to dive into the emotional side, psychological side, all of this stuff. As a retail manager, did you have any moments where as you grew up from 16, having a hustler mindset, and then now you saw your parents, especially your dad, having his own company, and then you had, before you even decided to, you know what, Michael Kors, you're cool, but I'm gonna make my own brand.
Yeah.
How did you get through the moments where you felt like, what the hell am I doing? Like, there's moments where you felt like, what am I doing?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have moments like that. I'm like, what is all this for? Because I was just working my butt off, literally like 40 plus hours a week.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was a lot. It was, and especially at a young age, like I was a manager when I was 18 years old. Jeez. Which is crazy to be over somebody else when I'm 18 years old. So it's really crazy. But yeah, I guess I just like, I had some whisperings in my ears from other people being like, oh, like, especially my dad was really pushing me to kind of start my own company. He's like, why are you making so much money for somebody else? It's like when you could be making it for yourself. And I'm like, so I think that really kind of stuck with me and really pushed me to be like, why am I doing this? And then COVID hit in 2020 or 2019. I think it was like March. 2019.
It was around March.
Yeah. So that hit, and I was working at Altered State at the time as an assistant manager. And I remember we were working from home, and we had to learn like Canva. Whenever we were working from home in 2019 to make like ads for Altered State, like to help, because they're like, oh, you're working from home, so let's do something useful. So then I learned Canva in 2019, and they paid for it, and I learned how to do it. So that kind of sparked my interest in graphic design. I was like, ooh, I really love doing this. So that's kind of what sparked my interest in marketing and graphic design and all that. So it's with COVID. So it was a turning point.
Oh, that must have been a paradigm shift, especially in the COVID. Before we go into COVID, I still have one more question going back to the... it still goes back to the point of when I asked you about how, if you felt like your childhood was not the exact type of childhood that you would have expected.
Yeah.
Now that dude, the fact that you, oh my gosh, 4 full-time jobs, online school.
It was a lot. I was like a machine. I literally would go from like one job to another. I would work floor sets, which in retail, floor sets, you work till like 2 or 3 a.m. I'd get off my one job at like 6 p.m. and then go into a floor set till 3 a.m. And then I would have a literal test the next day for like accounting. And
Katie.
It was nuts.
Oh my
I don't know how I did. And I was in school, like it took me 5 years to graduate, because I was doing it online, so I was a little bit slower. But I definitely was like, I'm gonna finish this, and then I did. But
well, I want to congratulate you on
thank you.
actually.
Yeah, it was hard work, dude. It was hard.
That's not hard work. That's literally someone who's trying to lift a Mount Everest, and you actually did it.
Yeah.
Wait, okay, after the childhood, did you feel, what were your thoughts on people with the idea of partying, spending time with friends, family, and then there's you literally going through at it like freaking Terminator?
Well, don't get me wrong. Whenever I was in high school, of course, I partied and stuff like that whenever I was in high school. But I think that I kind of hit an age, and I just had some things in my life that happened where I just kind of flipped a switch, and I was like, I need to get it together. Let's go. And since I was about 18, I've kind of just was like, even then before 15, 12, whatever, I was still like always had entrepreneurial spirit. But
that takes a lot of bravery, because sometimes when we do realize that we need to make a change for ourselves in order to better our lives, that does come with sacrifices. And one of those includes losing friends.
Oh, I lost a lot of friends. Like,
that shit's painful.
But it's hard, but it's for the better. And I think I'm a firm believer everything in life happens for a reason. And I definitely think everything that has transpired in my life has definitely happened for a reason, including the people that are in it. Like the people that are still in it today, I'm so thankful for all of them. And the people that aren't, they're not in my life for a reason, and it's for a good reason. So I look at it that way.
So they served a purpose.
Yes. It's either, what do they say when somebody comes in your life? It's either a lesson or like a lifetime or something like that. So that's what people say. And I believe that 100%.
Was there a friend that gave you like a paradigm shift in how you look at yourself and how you look at your life?
I definitely think Jacqueline.
Jackie!
Shout out to you. I actually met her think it was in either 2019 or 2018.
Yeah.
And I think it was actually around the same kind of COVID time that we met.
Okay.
And she had her own business. So she had her own retail business called St. Lucille Fashion. And originally we met and I was modeling for her with my friend. And I was like, I remember whenever she pulled up, I was just like so inspired. I was like, ooh, like I want to start my own business.
Okay.
And then she kind of inspired me to start my retail company, Bleach Babes, which I had for a couple years. So she was kind of the inspiration behind that.
Jackie, thank
Shout
you
out to
for
you.
molding Katie to the girl that she is today. It is, you are awesome. Do you have any words for Jackie when she watches this? Say hi to Jackie. Hi, Jackie.
Yeah, I just think that, you're inspirational. Like, I don't think you realize how inspirational that you can be and that you are. And you're just like my day one and my rock. So very appreciative for you.
Jackie, you're awesome.
Yes.
Anyways, continue into the story. So thank you for sharing that because the biggest thing that's really hard is accepting that, when you rise in your reputation in the work that you do as a leader, there is this thing where you cannot expect to take all the time.
Yeah.
You actually have to give up in order to
You
get to the next
You
level.
have to sacrifice.
Yes. And a lot of those, I don't think people understand the
realize it.
gravity of that. And sometimes it just takes that one sacrifice to actually get to the next level.
Yeah.
What were those sacrifices that you could actually remember that you were very afraid of taking or sacrificing in order for you to become the person that you are now?
I think a big thing is just time. I've sacrificed a lot of time. Even when I was working in retail and stuff like that, I sacrificed so much of my time with family and for work and like work ethic and where I wanted to be in my career.
Yeah.
So I think definitely time, and then like you said, certain friendships. Like I've lost certain friends, which was hard during the time, but looking back on it, I'm like, it's okay. Sorry, but I'm like, that's fine. But it's just sacrificing your time. Sometimes your mental sanity.
It's okay.
It's okay.
I mean, that's why you have therapy. You have a therapist
that's why you
too.
need therapy. So therapy plug. That's where plug you
Do
in.
you feel like, is there a decision that you are still coming to terms with? Because everything may have been a great decision, but there has got to be some that that made you question whether it was worth taking.
I don't know. I feel like everything that I've done so far has been worth it. I really do.
That's good.
Even through my failures, and I think everything is just like a learning experience in life. And even with like, I've had accounts that I've had for like a month and it wasn't the greatest experience, but I think there's something that you can take out of that. So I think that I've kind of persevered through all of that. So
Okay.
yeah.
I believe that's a great segue into going back to what she said about Canva.
Yeah.
Freaking Canva! Oh my gosh!
I love
remember,
Canva.
dude. I remember when you walked in and then you showed. I was like, "You use Canva? Really?"
I'm telling you, it's legit. I love it.
And then you started talking about, Canva does this, take the cards. I'm like, yo, stop monopolizing, okay? Give the small business a chance. But anyways, now that you went into Canva and you learned all of that, where did Let's Get Social come to be?
So during COVID, whenever I was learning Canva, this is before Let's Go Social even was a thought. I started my retail business, which was Bleach Babes. And so basically, this is crazy how it started. I remember TikTok was like huge, right? Whenever COVID, it literally came out and like there's like it was blown up, right? And so I saw this thing on TikTok and it was this girl like dyeing her shirt with bleach in a bathtub, and I was like, I have a bathtub, I have bleach, I'm like bored. I'm like, ooh, let me get a Rock Band shirt and bleach it, right?
Yeah.
So I put it in my bathtub, I bleached it. The shirt ended up being like too big for me, so I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna put it on my Instagram story and be like, who wants to buy this shirt for $20? I literally had 40 people be like, I want to buy that shirt right now, I'll give you cash, like DM me about the shirt. And I was like, could this be a business? Okay. And so I had that thought, and then I literally the next day had my logo drawn up with Canva. Shout out to you. I had my logo drawn up with Canva, And then I remember from then I just started reaching out to like a lot of local influencers. And I got this local influencer. She's actually really big in this area. Her name is Lipstick Heels and a Baby, and she had like 300,000 something followers. And I was like, ooh, this would be great. And so I reached out to her. And a little story about my brand also is I gave back 10% of my profits to the Guardian Ad Litem Foundation, which actually helps foster kids because I was actually in foster care when I was a teenager as well. So I gave back 10% of my profits through them. And so that's something that people really could connect with. And so I ended up from that getting a lot of people that wanted to kind of showcase my brand in exchange for product. So that helped me blow up really, really quickly, easily. And I would literally just message like 100 influencers a day. On DMs, and I would just like keep messaging. Like there were people that wouldn't even answer, but I was like, I'm just gonna keep going. I'm just gonna keep messaging, and I would do that every day and just consistently. And literally within 2 weeks, she was one of the first influencers that posted. From her story post, I got over 500 orders.
Damn.
So it literally went from 0 to 100 real quick, and I was not prepared. I was handwriting the labels because I didn't know how to do a label printer. I did not have a website. I was doing everything through Venmo.
Oh my gosh.
I was handwriting all the orders.
Yeah.
I literally have pictures like from where I was handwriting everything and like sending out the orders and going to the post office. And then from then I learned how to build my own website. So I just watched a YouTube video and I was like, oh, I'm going to learn how to build my own website. Build a website, and then literally within my first, I think it was my first year, I did $68,000 in sales. No advertising, no paying for any marketing, literally just from doing TikTok videos and Instagram and influencer relationships.
We got a lot to unpack here, but I'm actually happy that you opened up about the foster care because I believe everyone has some sense of drive behind the mission that they're trying to accomplish, and it's usually driven from what they've had to experience in their own childhood. So I want to acknowledge that the fact that you gave some of those profits to help those kids.
Yeah, we ended up raising a lot of money. Like I think we actually did a fashion show as well. It's called Cases. So now we actually have a program that I helped found with Guardian Ad Litem. It's called Cases for Kids. Basically, so whenever a child enters the foster care system, they're given trash bags normally to put their belongings in. I was actually one of the kids that had trash bags. And it comes with a lot of shame. Like when you don't have your own, like you literally have to move in trash bags. Like it's just kind of a shameful thing. And so our program actually gives kids that enter the system duffel bags, and it has like, depending on their age group and stuff like that, but it has like teddy bears and like literally a toothbrush and soap and just things that kids don't have and things that can be their own. So that way they don't have to kind of feel that shame anymore, and it gives them like a sense of belonging. So that's something that we started, but I had a fashion show before we even started it to help go towards that. And I think at the fashion show, we raised a little bit over $5,000. So it's just been a lot of awesome things that I've been able to do through my business to give back to the community, and it's such a huge blessing for me to be able to do that, and just, I mean, it's something that's really close to my heart as well. So
You're awesome.
Oh, thank you.
You have a good heart.
Thank you.
If you could say to the girl that was in the foster care, that little girl of you, what would you say now that would make her feel like everything from that point to here was worth all the pain and emotional roller coasters, all of that?
I don't know. That's hard. I guess I would just say that I'm happy that I sticked it out and that I went through it and that I came out on the other side. Because there was times I didn't know if I was going to make it through, honestly. So just very proud of myself. I would tell her that I'm proud of her, so I am.
Bro, I want to give you a hug right now. Oh my gosh. Okay, virtual hug.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Well, please, is that something that you're still actively doing with Let's Get Social?
Well, I'm actually on their committee board. And I love being a part of that with their programs that they do have. So they have different programs, like the Cases for Kids is the one that I helped found. But they also have like a camp for kids. We do holidays for kids, which is a big one, like for foster kids that don't get Christmas presents. So that one's the next one that's coming up. So it's something that I'm pretty actively involved in. Not as much recently because I've just been very busy.
Okay.
But anytime that I can help out, I really do try. And I've done a lot of speaking events and kind of sharing my testimony and stuff like that with them too. So anytime they need somebody to go speak, like Moon Crush Festival that just happened back in, I think it was in April, we got to speak to a little bit over 3,000 people. And from that, we raised almost like $30,000 from just like 5 minutes of speaking. So anytime that I can help out in that way, I'm there. So.
Okay, before we go back into the let's get social, I'm already stuttering because this is let's get social journey. I want to give you the opportunity to try break down the stigma of foster care. What is the one thing that you can acknowledge that is not something that should be stigmatized?
I guess like one thing, so my foster parents, whenever they took me in, I was 15.
Okay.
And so I think there's a really bad rep around foster kids that are like in their teenage years. And a lot of families only want to take in like either babies or like super young kids. But I think that the teenagers are the ones that need it the most because they literally help shape who I am too today. Like if I did not have them, I wouldn't be who I am today either. So I think because your teenage years are so impactful, and you don't really realize it till you get older. Like I probably realized it when I was like 22 or 23, and I was kind of like not a crazy kid, but I was like kind of rebellious. And then looking back, I'm like so happy like to have someone that was like just stuck it out and kind of just loved me unconditionally. So.
That's a hard thing, I would imagine, because I would imagine there are, oh my God, I'm saying imagine. Let me just use a different word. I would like to, I know there's also the stigma where there are other foster parents that only do for the money because they get the government.
There's a lot, unfortunately, and there's a lot of situations too, unfortunately, that people have been like sexually abused in the foster care system. Like, unfortunately, I know people like personally that have in group homes especially, but literally in Walton County there's only 8 foster homes.
Oh my gosh.
And there's over 300 plus foster children in the system at a given time.
Jeez.
So it's something that is so needed, but I think so many people are so afraid to open up their homes to kids because they don't really know what they're going to get exposed to, like especially if they have children, you know. But it's something that's definitely needed. Even not even if more foster homes, maybe just like a better group home environment, because the group homes are awful. Like,
it's not. There's no individual spaces.
Well, there's no individual space. It's like you're in a prison. You can't have a cell phone. You can't go over to people's houses. Like you can't be a normal child.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's something that I don't think is talked about a lot that needs to be talked about is what kind of environment that it almost sets up kids for failure.
And they feel, and like you said with the trash bags, almost a shame if not given the opportunity to break out of that. They're always going to have that negative outlook on who they are and also the world itself.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm actually curious, what the company what are the things that you want to do to help change that?
I guess just give kids hope.
Okay.
Like that's one of the big things that I think is needed is just to give kids hope. And I think a lot of that comes from sharing a testimony. I think they respect people that have kind of been through it, other foster kids. And I really think that everybody should share their testimony, especially if you can help somebody. Just share it because you never know like who you're speaking to. Like literally we were at an event and I was speaking about, the trash bags and I shared a little bit of my story and literally had 3 people come up to me afterwards and be like, I was a foster kid and I had trash bags. So you just never know who you're speaking to and what audience. So I think it's just sharing that and sharing the hope and being like, there is a way out. Like you don't have to feel stuck. So I think that's important and just like loving on them. I want them to be loved and know that they're loved and worthy and cherished. So.
Hi guys, Kino here. Just wanted to take a second to say thank you so much to each and every single one of you that has been with me on this journey for Hidden Record and just sharing all these stories of all of the creatives that have appeared on the show. If you enjoy deep conversations like this, make sure to hit like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on a podcast platform like Spotify, Make sure you follow that so you won't be out of the loop for every month, because I try to drop at least 2 episodes. So grab your popcorn and soda and let's get back to our conversation. All right, guys. Thank you so much for the intermission. I hope you grab some popcorn and some soda. Sit back and enjoy, and like what they say at the AMC theaters. Instead of saying, we make movies better, here we say, we make podcasts better. Well, that is such a I want to say that's such a heartfelt part of you that I want to say that you're courageous and you're brave.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for helping the kids that really need it, especially the teenagers.
They're the ones that need it the most, for sure. And I know, relate to what they're going through in a certain sense. So I think it's helpful just to have somebody that's been there. Mm-hmm. So.
I'm sorry. One more question about this. With the shame, with the trash bag, the idea of having shame in who you are because of some upbringing, what have you done to work on yourself to realize that you're able to look back on your past as not something that's shameful, but something to embrace, and also two, how you apply what you've gone through into the future and how you create the path for yourself to a better life?
I definitely think it goes back to therapy and the thought patterns. So I think it's stopping them, the thought patterns to say you're not good enough. It's stopping them in their tracks and kind of just reminding yourself who you are. Okay. I think that's been a big thing for me, is just reminding myself how far I have come and how hard I've worked and who I am and what I've been through. Yeah. And that most people would not be mentally sane if they went through the same thing. So I think just really recognizing that. And like I said, surrounding yourself with the right people has been crucial for me.
You're on the right path and you are Jesus Christ. Not Jesus Christ. You are... I'm now even more inspired by, and I cannot wait to see what you do.
Thank you.
Especially with this mission in mind. I really cannot wait to see how much you impact on the kids' life.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been so crazy. We actually were awarded for the Cases for Kids program. It's another foundation called Impact 100. So it actually gives $100,000 to one charity. I think it's either 2 times a year or 1 time a year. Okay. But I know we've been trying to get it for the last 5 years. Okay. And we were just awarded it this year for Cases for Kids. So that's been phenomenal. Shout out to Impact 100. You guys are amazing. So that's been great for Cases for Kids. And now we're just looking for more people to help put together the cases. So we're going to have. Can you
drop
events.
The socials and website of the cases by?
Cases? So we don't have an actual Instagram. So the foundation, it's actually a volunteer program. It's kind of long, so let me look it up. Actually,
yeah, of course.
It's Guardian Ad Litem Foundation, but let me get the socials. Let's see. It's Northwest Florida Guardian Ad Litem Foundation. So that's a long one. But it's basically also too. So. A little backstory on them and what they do. So it's kind of almost like a big brother, big sister. A Guardian Ad Litem is kind of like a court appointed. You basically go with kids to when you're in foster care, you have to go to court. So that's something that you kind of get used to at a young age too, which can be scary for a kid that's 5 or 6 years old. Even when I was 14 and going to court, I mean, that was intimidating. Yeah. So it's somebody that goes to court with the kids. It's kind of their comfort. My guardian ad litem, who I'm still very close with, she was a second mom to me. And it's somebody that takes you to your doctor's appointments. We would go to dinner together. She would take me to my softball practice and stuff like that. So really encourage you guys to get involved. If you cannot foster children or you don't have the means to be a guardian ad litem, it's volunteer based. And then there's a lot of kids that could use it too. So
please.
Yes.
Be there.
Yes.
Just like how Mike Wazowski was there for Boo. Mike Wazowski and Sully. Yes.
Yeah, Sully's my favorite.
It's important. Yes. Okay. I want the kids to realize that their whole entire life is not just it's not a monstrosity by any means. We just need somebody to be there for them. And lastly, what can people do to donate and support outside of doing that? Is there any other
So
way?
there's the website. If you go to Northwest Florida, I think it's .org, northwestfloridaguardian.org. It's so long. I can tell you exactly what it is. I think it's actually abbreviated.
Oh my gosh.
Guardian Light Hold on, wait.
Yeah.
Let me look it up. Hold on.
Wait, is it case by case? I wasn't sure if I heard it right. Case by case?
Cases for Kids.
Cases for Kids. Okay.
So it's actually, the website is a lot shorter. So it's nwfgal.org. And there you can find all of our program information. Like literally, if you go to programs, it takes you and it says Cases for Kids, camps, children in need, hope for the holidays. So it has more information on all the programs and then kind of how you can donate. You can also put in your volunteer form there and apply for that too. So
volunteer.
Yes.
I believe after, I'm actually grateful for the people I've come across because I've learned that. Well, at a younger age, we're like, I want to get a Ferrari. I want to get an iPhone. But then there's this greater sense of fulfillment when it comes to finally giving back to the community. And that's what you're doing.
Yeah, I think it's just your purpose. That's my purpose. And I think that there's so many people that are just kind of lost. And I feel like it's so important to find your purpose and what makes you truly fulfilled. Because this world, it can be a lot of materialistic, and it's just sad. It makes me sad. And so I'm really happy that I have found a purpose beyond all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
I hope you got it. I'm so happy. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you.
And now we go back to the camp journey.
Yes.
Let's get social started. Continue.
Yep. Okay, so learned how to use Canva, started my own business, the retail. And I was like, dang, this is crazy. Like what social media can do. Like, literally did not spend any money. It was all free. It built it from nothing. I started out with 0 followers. And the first year I had like 12,000 on my one Bleach Babes account, 33,000 on my TikTok account. Like just from consistently being on social media and putting myself out there. Like I was like, this is insane. And so then, COVID ended. It was like 3 months. I was still doing my Bleach Babes business. I went back to work at Altered State. And I think I was there for like maybe like 2 months or something.
Okay.
And then I was like, I really don't want to work in retail anymore. And so I was like, let me get a marketing job, or let me find, like, maybe I can put my foot in the door since I have my experience with, my retail company and then also my degree. I'm like, oh, maybe I can put my foot in the door somewhere. And so then I applied to be a marketing manager at a real estate company. And then I was there for about 3 months. And then I was like, I just want to start my own company. And then I kind of just had the idea for Let's Get Social, created the logo, literally made my website, and then I left and I started my own business in February of 2021.
That's is it 24? So 3 years. Roughly 3 years. Wow. And how has that journey been like since?
It's been crazy. So when I left there, I'm very used to real estate marketing. Very versed in that, very versed in the real estate market. So I had like 3 or 4 people follow me from the company that I was working with. And so that kind of launched me. Like literally as soon as I announced that I was starting my own company, I had like 15 people reach out to me. And I was like, okay, this is a good idea. Like this is the right direction. And I remember someone told me, they're like, oh, that's how you know, like, it's like meant to work out and stuff like that. And I was like, yeah. And so then I started doing that. Jacqueline.
Hi, Jackie.
It was actually one of my first clients.
Oh.
So I did all of the social media marketing for her retail business that she still had.
Oh my gosh.
And so it's like a full circle moment that she now works with me.
Yeah.
It's so crazy. And, but yeah, I just remember like, it was rough, like when I first started my business, because I went from being around working, like my friends worked with me at Altered State. So I went from like working with everybody and seeing everyone every day to literally like being by myself, like just in my house. So it was a very different experience. And I was kind of like locked in my house for like a year and kind of just working by myself. And I was doing both businesses. So I was doing Bleach Babes and Let's Get Social. And then I just became kind of burnt out on the retail side with Bleach Babes because I was just doing so much like by myself. And then I just was like, I'm just going to do Let's Get Social full time. And that was probably like in 2022.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, did that moment of now finally going from being like in that environment where you're wanted and needed and you actually contributed to the overall mission of that company to now just being by yourself?
Well, not by myself anymore. So I've really pushed myself probably in the past like year and a half to really go to networking events. I mean, I have a team now, which is amazing. I just joined with One Shot Creation. Shout out to y'all. So that's been amazing. It's been a really like turn point year, I feel like, because it's great just to be surrounded by other creatives and people that I can talk to, and we can talk about marketing stuff and our frustrations and graphic design and website, and it's just cool to connect with people like that. So it's been really great just to have an office and a community and to have that, because it is hard like working by yourself, and I think that's one thing a lot of people don't talk about is the transition from like working in an actual space and then kind of just working by yourself, and how isolating that can kind of be. So anybody that's out there working by yourself, I highly encourage you to go to networking events, make friends that are entrepreneurs, because it definitely helps. I have a lot of friends that are also women in business, so that definitely helps be able to talk to them.
That is, by the way, that is one of the topics. So stay tuned.
Yes.
If you have to, grab your popcorn and your soda, pause this video, go get that right now. And we're back. With Jackie, hi Jackie. I'm gonna call you Jackie. I'm sorry. I just like saying that name for you. What were the things that you find that made you feel like that was the right partner? Because every company, we always have to find the right partner, because it's like basically marriage. Whoever you choose to work with in your business is someone that you're gonna have to deal with, both in good and bad moments. So how did you decide that a co-founder, partner, whatever it is you want to call it, what were some of the characteristics that you look out for that determines you to decide, okay, I can trust this person, that if I'm not there, they can they can help in that aspect?
I think one thing about Jackie, she's very level-headed, and I really appreciate that about her. She also like gets it from a business standpoint, because she has owned her own business, and the fact that we had already previously worked together whenever I was doing her social media, and we're very much on the same vibe with aesthetics, and we kind of understand each other on that point. And she's very quick-witted, understands things very quickly, and so it's kind of like I don't really have to like put in a lot of effort. Like we're kind of very similar matched, so that makes it really easy for us to work together.
Now, what about those people that actually ended up working with a partner, but then it turns out that they're not a good fit? How would you tell them to go about that?
I guess like don't get discouraged from that, and just keep like, because there's always a right fit out there for somebody, like, or if you do enjoy working alone, then that's fine. But I think having a partner, especially if you're growing your business, or just having somebody on your team to help, is really important, and that's something that I've learned is how to delegate. So just keep searching until you find that right person, because you will. It just takes time.
You might even find them on Tinder or Bumble.
You never know. Bumble BFF.
That's why she said go to networking events. Yeah. That person might be right there.
Yep. That's how I met my other Maddie is from a networking event.
Maddie,
so shout out to you, Maddie. I love you. Yeah, she was awesome, and she worked with us for a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, I met her literally going to I think it was open house party or something that my friend was at, and we got introduced. So yeah, you just never know who you're gonna connect with.
Was that Soul House by any chance?
I think it was a Spears Group event.
Oh, the real estate.
Yeah, it was a real estate event. So yes,
very well known around here.
Yeah.
But okay, so then you wanted to let's get social. Now, this is the meat of the conversation.
Oh, okay.
The most important part. Everything was important, but this, guys. We just went from Avengers. Now we just went through the Infinity War, which is our upbringing. Now we're in the end game. Okay.
Okay.
So pay attention. Okay. What's inspiring with your story, knowing that you have gone through foster care and then you have all this mission, it really creates this specific image of who you are as a person. Katie Anderson. It makes it's a lot easier for you to stand out, because you have that going behind you, and now you know what you need to do to make that reality happen, especially for those kids that need that.
Yep.
Now, we're now going to dive into this topic of where I can agree that there is not a lot of acknowledgement that should have been made towards women in business. There's a lot of men out there, but then in women, I think there should be a fair equal amount of like recognition for what they do.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you take that mic from there.
Yeah, I think there's such a stigma with women in business.
Okay.
And that I think especially from men, from their point of view, I think that they think that we're too emotional to run businesses, or we're not level-headed enough, or we don't have the expertise. And honestly, it's something that even in my business, I've struggled with for a long time, because I've worked with, I work with a lot of men in my business, with people that own like huge companies and big businesses. And I've worked with like 70-year-old men and people that kind of just don't understand what I do. And so I think I literally at some point I have to like prove myself to them for them to take me seriously, which I think is what a lot of women in business have to do. Unfortunately, is like it's almost like a next step for us, like because men, they're like, oh yeah, like they're good, whatever. But with women, there's such a stigma that you literally have to like prove yourself that you're financially can do it, and that you're like smart enough to do it, and that you're like stable enough. So I think there's just a lot that goes with that.
Well, I just don't. The one thing I don't know if it's just gender based, but it's patriarchy and matriarchy, that kind of thing. I'm like, I've gotten to the point where it's like, I feel like everyone's already arguing beyond what was supposed to be the real reason why they're arguing. It's just now going beyond. So with the struggles that you've had to make, how much did you actually have to sacrifice to at least finally get the same level of recognition, even respect from one man to another? What did you have to do to finally earn that?
I literally have had to prove myself, like through my work, website building. I mean, and it's so crazy because they're like, oh, I would have never expected, like, oh, that's what you do, or you do that, or oh, you build websites, or
there's a sense of the sense of what's that word?
Oh, you do logos? You know how to do logo design? And like, oh, you know how to code? You know how to do SEO? I'm like, yes, I can do those things. So it's just, I think it's just a sense of like proving myself, which I've done like with every client that I've had. But yeah, it's just proving yourself. And I think it's been, for me, I think I'm finally at the point in my business and in my career that I like am like not justified, but what is the word? Like validation, I guess, from like other people and other businesses. I feel like I'm finally at that point where I've been getting validation from like men and other businesses and like huge companies. So it's kind of cool to see that, but it definitely has been years in the making. So it's just really staying the course and being consistent and putting in the work.
But the work that you guys have to do is even like 2 times more.
It's like twice.
Which is crazy. Yeah. With the business that you've been able to do, were there any people that got inspired, especially women?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a memorable story that you can share?
I mean, I've had so many people reach out to me, like even from like high school and stuff like that, like tell me like, oh, I'm inspired by you from what you're doing, and like how, like asking me questions like how to get started. And I've been able to mentor like a lot of people. I've actually even came out with a digital guide like how to start a business, because there's so many things that go into starting a business that a lot of people don't think about, like business license, LLC, making sure that you're registered, like all the taxes, like making sure your logo is like copyrighted, like all the things. So there's just a lot that goes into owning a business. So I've kind of put that all into a digital guide, because I just had so many people reach out and ask me like questions and how to be successful. And I've had friends that started a jewelry line and that I've helped build their website, and it's been really awesome to be a part of that. So, and to see people get inspired from me, because it's just crazy. I'm like, I'm just me, but it's cool to have that.
Man, I'm really proud of you now that you have someone. You're basically the Black Widow for the foster kids, and now you are the Wonder Woman for the women. I think you're a great source of inspiration. I want you to know that even though you may not have felt a sense of belonging or a sense of being wanted, I'm sure there are other people that want to say that to you. It's just they're waiting for the right opportunity to tell that to you. And
Thank you.
You are an inspiration, Katie. You're doing everything right.
Thank you.
Guys, like and subscribe to her, not this account, but her. What the wins that you gathered for yourself to put on this hypothetical shelf? What were some of the tragedies or failures that you've had to deal with, especially with this concept of how men view women at a lower level? What were some of the hardest hardships that you've had to
I definitely think it's always frustrating whenever you like don't get an account. Like for me, like if I put in a proposal and then you like don't get it. But even with that though, like it's always learning from your failures. And like whenever I first started out, like my pricing like was so, low, and now just learning that too. I mean, that was also like a thing you have to go through when starting a business. And then, looking back on the graphic design that I used to do and then the graphic design I do now, it's like so cringy to look back on and be like, oh my God, I can't believe that's what I was posting. But for the time, it was okay. But now I'm like, it's 2024, we got to get together. And it's much better now, but I just learned a lot. Okay. Like I've learned so much, and working from different people, like I think I have it down to a T now where I can really understand my client's perspective, their brand, and I can relate that. Like I literally had a client and she was a realtor and her daughter told me, I can't tell if it's you or my mom posting. And that's when I was like, I'm nailing this. So it's just like learning things like that, and really I think for me too with businesses, I just love to see them thrive. And it's so exciting whenever you are doing marketing and then they'll be like, oh, we had the best like soft opening out of the whole entire company, or oh, we had like the best sales this day. And it's cool to see that. So it's just a learning. Owning a business, you learn something new every day. Every day I learn something new. So pretty much, I think, like something I didn't know before. So, and technology is always changing. So it's just, you really have to stay alert and really be open. Like you can't just be stuck. Like there's a lot of old school marketing people I think that are just stuck like in the ways that they do things. And you just can't do that if you want to grow.
Well, see, the thing is, how do you even start dialogue to make them realize that the world that they knew is not around anymore? And I'm sure it's kind of like frustrating and kind of sad. Like, bro, I can make it better for you. Yeah. But they're just so dead set on it. What do you even do to start a dialogue on that?
So with that, you really have to show them the proof. Okay. You have to show them the analytics. You have to show them like, hey, this is what this has done for this company, for their sales. You really have to show them the real results behind that. And because there's so many people that are still doing like newspaper ads and like radio and like, I mean, that's fine, but like who are you reaching? Or magazine ads. And like there's so many people you can reach on social media, and it's just really, you have to really show them the proof and break it down to their level where they can understand that. And so that's something that can be challenging, especially in this area where we're at. It's very much old school. A lot of people are old school. Like we're not in a big city. We're not in New York. We're not in California. This is Destin, Florida. All right. And it is hard, like, because people just are so used to one way of doing things, but there's so many different ways to do things and so many different ways you can be successful. So, and I do have older clients too that love to print everything out and red market. So it's just really adapting to my clients' needs, and I adapt to them though, and I cater to those people. For sure.
So you provide a tailored service to make sure that they're not just getting something that everybody can get. But that they understand it, because I want them to understand it. I want them to understand what they're paying for, what the results are. And so I really try to break it down for them, because I think that helps from a business perspective too, to be like, what am I spending money on? So okay. Well, there's one thing I wanted to know how you go about this. So the idea of like materialistic, but there's also this other side of that where we get lost into the statistics, number of likes, number of followers, all this stuff. When you combine that in this work that you do, when you have that account, it's like, we're cursing. Heck!
Dang!
I didn't get this, the results that I wanted. How do you first take care of yourself to know that you're just working one step at a time, but also knowing that the company that you're working for, the client, whatever it is, they're paying you to get the results that they are expecting you to get. When you have those moments like that, what do you do?
I think it's just, for me, it's reminding myself consistency always pays off, first of all. Not everything on social media is going to go viral.
Okay.
It's not meant to go viral. The algorithm changes literally every week. So you can never predict it, really. The thing that you can do is put out the best possible content that you can put out there for your brand, and making sure that it's quality over quantity, I think is huge, especially for pushing out viral content.
Yeah.
But just reminding the client, like, hey, like, nothing is built in a day. Like, it takes consistency, and they see the results, like, but it may take like a month or so, but you'll see the results. It's just consistently posting, and that's kind of where we come in. So that way they're not posting 1 week and then they totally forget for like a month. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, the thing is, okay, I'm so glad you brought this up, because quality over quantity. That's the hardest part. When there are so many creators out there that put out 18 hours, 20, 40 on this one type of content, and it just literally gets no traction.
Yeah.
From there, it's like, what am I doing? I'm just not going to do this anymore.
Yeah.
And
it's just not giving up, I think. Because that's kind of where I was. So to journey back, so whenever I first started with TikTok, with Bleach Babes, I don't know, I was on there for like a year, right? And I was consistently posting, and I was like posting like 1,000 views, 2,000, 3,000. Then I posted and I tagged he's like a member of the Sway Boys back when that first started out. Noah Beck, shout out to you. I made him like a custom t-shirt, right?
okay.
And he like stitched my video or something. It blew up. It got like freaking 1 million views. And so you just never know when you're going to have that moment. And that's why I think it's so important to not give up. Don't give up on your business. Don't give up on your marketing. Because you just never know when that's going to hit. And it could be, as long as the consistency is there, it's just not forfeiting it before you can even reach your potential.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so there were a couple things you mentioned. So quality, and then not giving up. But is there at least one metric that they could use to at least know that they're making a progress, some sense of direction with what they're trying to do with their brand or content? What is that one metric? That could be likes, views. Which ones do you find that's the most common denominator in every client you work with?
I feel like views, because likes, I feel like so many people are so stingy on likes nowadays. I don't know why you just won't like something. It's so weird to me. I've noticed that in the past 2 years. I'm like, so many people view my things and then not like it. I'm like, that's so weird. I'm like, I'm a liker. I'll like everything. I'm like, boop, 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 boop. And people are just not like that anymore.
Okay.
So definitely views, see who you're reaching. Look into whenever you can go, it's literally on Instagram if you're a creator, business, whatever. You can go to Instagram and see who your audience is. Is it male? Is it female? What cities are you reaching? And then you can really look at that and kind of dive into it. What your target audience is and who exactly you're reaching. It will tell you. So, and it's free. I'm like, you might as well utilize it.
Okay. Second thing is quality and quantity over quality.
Quality over quantity. Yeah.
They all sound the same.
Yeah.
There are people that have gone viral because of quantity. Let's say Gary Vee, for example. Dude, that guy puts so many videos out every single.
A lot.
So then, is it the quantity that's combined with content, or is it the quantity but it's the content in each video that he puts out is more important, or is the quality that might take months for just one video to go out? What are your thoughts?
You have to find a line in between the two, because you can't. It's yes, you want it to be quality, and I feel like I found kind of I put out quality content, but it's so quick.
Okay.
So it's you have to just hire me to do your social media, but you have to almost find a fine line, because you don't want to take 3 months to put out one video and then take another 3 months. So you have to find say if it's not 3 months, shorten it down to 2 weeks, or make a consistent in your mind, be I'm going to post a video every week, once a week.
Okay.
And then make that a reminder, or set a reminder on your phone or whatever. So that way the consistency is there, but you don't have to post every single day.
Okay.
I think that's something that people are they get so overwhelmed with social media, because they're oh my God, I have to post every day. I don't post every day. You shouldn't be posting every day, because it's just putting stuff out there that it's if it's not saying a message, then why are you putting it out there, kind of.
Okay.
Because there's just so much on social media already that you want people to find value from what you're giving out.
Well, then what about this thing where there are people, they put out quantity for the sake of making sure that they're like hacking the algorithm. So there's like there's TikTok, especially TikTok.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there, but it's just trying to maintain the presence in order for the algorithm to know that you're there. But where's
I feel like the algorithms are all like BS. Like, I'm sorry, it's true. Like, everyone's like, what hashtag should I use? Or, well, I'm like, literally consistency. That's my answer, because it's just, you never know. The algorithm changes so much. It's almost impossible to keep up with the algorithm.
Yeah.
So if you know that you're being consistent with your content and you have like a schedule laid out and you have like, this is what I'm going to post this day, I think that gives more results than trying to figure out whatever algorithm is going on.
Especially in the long term.
Oh yeah, long-term longevity, you want to 100% just have consistency.
With that in mind, now, how do you, as a social media manager, you try to take breaks? How do you make sure how do you ensure yourself that you come across some highlight reels of, my gosh, the social media manager is doing better. How am I? Then you feel like, what am I doing? So what are you doing to make sure that you're not getting trapped in this idea that, oh my gosh, you just saw somebody else highlight reel and you're just like, what am I doing?
I guess like just knowing that every business is different.
Okay.
Like, I think I try not to compare myself to others, because like I said, every business is different. They all will start out a different way. Like, and I try not to view others' success as like, why am I not as good as them? But like, I try to view it as a inspiration instead, and be like, oh, how can I better myself? How can I better my business? And I look at it that way, so that way it's not so much a negative, but you're taking it into like an inspiration point of view.
Okay. Now the other thing I want to know is, how do you bring your inner child into the work that you do? Because I believe I think everyone should still implement play. There's work, play, rest. But if you don't, if something is not fun, dude, the fact that you're doing this for so long means there's some element of play into this.
It's just fun. Like, what I do is fun. Like, I like with the businesses that I normally take on, like, I get more excited about other accounts, obviously, than others. But the businesses that I am doing, like water sports and like restaurants and like the Wild Coconut Girls and like all of that, like it's just fun. Like, or like Hilton, like shout out to the Hilton, but like just things like that. Like, it's just important to make sure that there's a balance. Like, I really enjoy accounts where I can go and like do fun things, and like for my job, like I get to go on a jet ski and like, so it's like, that's not like your average, no, literally, it's not your average job. Like, I get to plan fun events. So it's just like finding a balance between, the accounts that you love and just making sure you have a passion for that too. So
let's get social now that you have a team and you're delegating all this stuff. What are you trying to do next that you feel like that's the next level for your company?
I mean, I feel like I'm kind of already hitting some of those things. I feel like I'm already kind of hitting some of the things that
You are going to go
It's
bigger.
crazy.
Like, because I know, and if you look at her website, she is based in Nashville too. So eventually, at some point, you're gonna.
I would want to expand for sure.
Yeah.
Global domination. No, literally. But I also have clients that are also expanding in other areas, so that's opening up a door for me in that aspect too. So, but I definitely want to expand to Nashville, and then also the Tampa area. Are my two areas that I'm kind of looking at right now to expand. But I love Nashville, and so I'd love to.
The place where we all sing.
Yes, on Broadway.
Let's get society. Every time I work with her, she raises my sobriety. Okay, as a CEO. What the heck are you doing with the work-life balance? Because that's something I can never.
Dude, it's hard.
How do you? Because, bro,
there's times when I work like till 12 o'clock at night. Like, I'm like working on a website, coding. I'm so frustrated. I just want to throw my computer across the room. Like, I'm yelling. But I think I found, like I said, therapy is great for that. And then recently I started doing yoga like this past year.
Okay.
Something that definitely, it just shuts off my mind. So
Okay.
that's great. I do that like once a week. So that's something that I found. Meditation is something that I do. And just like self-care, like I'll treat myself to like a facial or a massage, and I'll spend time with my friends and just making sure that I have like a balance. Like, but it's been hard. I mean, I work a lot. Like,
Hustler mindset.
that's why I was like, let me take a week in Hawaii. So it's just like things like that. Like you have to make time.
Okay.
Because like you can't give to other people if you're running on empty.
Empty
And that's
glass,
something
like that, yeah.
that I've learned.
Okay.
Because I was running on empty for so long, and I'm like, dude, I can't do this anymore. So I was like, I've got to take some time and to just reset. Because I just want to do all of the things all the time. So it's hard. And it's hard, but it's been nice to be able to delegate as well. I think that it's definitely helps me delegating to other people and knowing that I can let go of some of the control of that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, so outside of work, are you doing anything that would develop the leadership, the type of leader that you're becoming?
I guess just stuff with guardian ad litem. I mean, that's been kind of where I spend a lot of my other time is just doing stuff with them.
Okay.
That, and then I also am excited to bring on a intern. Yay! So I'm bringing on an intern. Her name is Elle from FSU. She's going to be starting.
Stranger Things?
Huh? No, not that one. But she's gonna be starting next week. So I'm excited to mentor and kind of get her. She'll be with us, I think, for like 3 months. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Well, with mentorship, okay, we're gonna go into scenario. You're on your deathbed, and you're watching everybody around you.
Okay.
And you're thinking about your legacy, and especially mentorship, because that requires a mindset change and a leader to know that not only are you helping your team, but you're helping them reach the potential to succeed. What's that word? To succeed over you, like
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
like succession, basically.
Yes, yeah.
With mentorship, what is the one type of leader that you would want people that you mentor to remember you?
I guess just being kind. Like
Okay.
I've had, when I was in retail management, we had so many managers that were just so negative and like pinpointing like all of your wrong things, but not really congratulating you whenever you were doing the right thing. So I really think that words of praise, I think that's a big thing. But then also being able to say, hey, like, let's take a look at this, and not saying necessarily what somebody did wrong, but this is a better way that we can do it, and looking at it in that perspective instead of a negative light. I want to be definitely reminded, you're remembered as somebody that was kind and led with compassion rather than negativity.
That's good. Remember, guys, leadership, it ain't no game.
No, it's not easy.
It's not like Nintendo DS with dogs, okay?
No.
Lead with attention and purpose.
Yep.
We're actually almost running out of time, guys. I am so sorry. If you want to cry, please grab a Kleenex. I'll give you a couple seconds to remove your tears. Okay, happy? Okay. We will have her on another episode. Is that a yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a
Okay.
yes.
That was a very weak yes. But now a couple things to wrap up. Let's get social. How do you want that company to look like once because do you imagine yourself selling it off or
No.
Oh, even if it has like $5 million value?
I don't know if I could ever sell it off.
What?
I would think I'd want to be involved in, like, even if I did sell it, I would still want to be involved in some aspect just because of how much I've put into it.
Okay.
I just don't think I could do that.
Really?
No, like my other business, like Bleach Babes, I'm like, yeah, I can sell it, whatever. But like, this is just something very personal and that I've built, and I just want it to continue on. So.
All right, we'll wait 20 years later and we'll have her on this exact podcast and see if she actually sold it off or not.
No, I'm going to say no.
What? You're going to say no?
No, I'm probably not going to sell it off.
Okay.
Yeah, just telling you now. Yeah.
Well, for people out there, both current and future clients, what do you want them to know about who you are and what you're trying to do with this company?
I think just that we keep our word on what we do. I think there's so many companies out there that kind of like talk like a game or like thinking like, oh, we can do this and this, but we actually are there. We deliver results. We come get content. We show up. We do the work. So I think that's something to relay to my clients already know, but to future clients as well. And I just have a passion. I love helping businesses. Like nothing makes me happier than to see a business thrive. And I think that's something that you really have to have in marketing. And if you don't have that, it's almost like a missing piece. Like, because if you don't have that passion for the business that you're helping, why are you even doing it? Yeah. So
there has to be a mission.
Yeah, a passion.
And then personally, do you feel happy with where you are now? Or are there some things that you're currently working towards to... Because this definition of happiness is kind of very loose, okay?
It is, yeah.
It's easy to... So, let me rephrase. What is your definition of happiness in your personal life?
I guess just feeling like fulfilled.
Okay.
I think that's something that I'm always like kind of working towards. And it's just, a healing journey as well. I'm on a healing journey. Yeah. I've made a lot of progress, so very proud of myself for all the progress that I have made. But I think life in general is just a journey. So just taking it day by day is what I kind of do. So
it's a game of life.
It is.
Finally, the foster kids. What that I can't imagine any greater feeling than knowing that the kids that you have created such an impact in their lives to a point where it actually made them want to carry on the legacy that you want to leave behind by helping other people, other kids, everybody. What is that one thing that you want, even that one tiny foster kid that's just lost all hope and positive thing? What is the one thing that you want them to remember, at least try to hang on to?
Just know that you're always loved. Even if you don't feel it, if you feel alone, there's always somebody out there that loves you, that you're important, that you're not worthless, and that you're wanted. You're wanted by people, and you just need to keep holding on because it does get better. Even though it sucks at some points, it will get better.
You are wanted to,
Thank you.
There's room for you in this world.
Yes.
And so are there for you foster kids.
Yes.
Okay? Try to just hang on. Now, any last words that you want to leave behind before we close the curtains and call it the end?
I don't know. I feel like I've said so much.
You said a lot.
Yeah.
With so many valuable insights, which is awesome. But
Yeah.
were there any things that I never got to give you the opportunity that you want to speak on? Now, kind of like the wedding thing. Speak now or forever hold your peace or silence.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess just make sure whatever you're doing is fulfilling and it's purposeful, because that's what we're all here for, is to help others and to fulfill a purpose. So just making sure whatever you're doing is that you're happy with it, because you're going to regret it if you're not doing something that you love to do.
Yeah, because the scariest thing that could happen is you're at your deathbed and you see the ideas that are standing before you and they're like, why didn't you choose me?
Yeah. No, I literally almost died in Hawaii.
Huh?
I almost died in Hawaii.
Wait, are you for real? I said,
for real. I jumped off of it's a place called the China Walls, and I jumped off into the ocean. It was like a 20 feet depth, and I tried to get back up, and I kept slipping, and I literally was almost drowning, and I don't know, I was kind of fulfilled. I was like, all right, so it's time to go. But I think it really is true though. You want to make sure that you are happy before you go.
Did you have okay, so this is why
I had my life flash before my eyes, bro.
And this is why everything is reprioritized now?
Yeah. No. It's just it puts things into perspective for you. But
is that bad?
It was no, I'll have to show you some pictures of my knees bloodied up. It was crazy.
Were there caution signs? Or?
No, literally the locals were like, yeah, go there. It's a fun time. And then I literally asked, I was telling people about it the next day. They're like, yeah, some of my friends died there. I'm like, great, thank you for telling me. So to all the people in Hawaii, you didn't tell me about the China walls. Shame on you. But
Hey, we still love you.
Yeah.
Just put a caution sign.
yeah, no, literally, something.
just
Yeah.
do any
If you
caution.
cannot swim well, do not enter the water. Okay.
Anyways, guys, your socials. Let's just remind them one more time where people can find you. And I want you to bring up the organizations that you brought up, everything that we just talked about. So.
Okay, yeah, so my business Instagram is at Let's Get Social 30A. My personal one is Katie on 30A. The foundation, let me find it, it's long. Northwest Florida, Guardian Ad Litem is that one. And then their website is nwfgal.org.
And then the case by kids is on
The Cases for Kids is on the web. We don't have an Instagram. It's just on the website.
okay.
Underneath programs, you can find the Cases for Kids program.
And can you remind them how they can donate?
So if you go on the website, you can donate through like the programs button, or there's also a volunteer form on the homepage as well.
Okay. Please donate. It is such an important cause as every other cause out there. But the most important thing is that you took action, or you take action and better the life. Stop spending money on ramen noodles. Well, ramen noodles fine. Stop spending money on
Amazon.
popcorn or computer. Just maybe $1. $1.
No, literally.
Yes, it
Yeah.
would change a life.
Yeah.
Just $1 will count. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode and listening for this episode, by the way. Thank you, Katie, for sharing her story. And thank you for all of you beautiful people out there watching and listening. Like and subscribe. Okay. Yes. We will see you at the next episode. Stay tuned. Every episode is a banger on its own. So thank you so much. And that is it for Hit Record. This is Kino signing off. Bye. And that's a wrap for today's episode on Hit Record. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and I do hope that today's episode was insightful and also it gave you some kind of fresh perspective in your creative journey. If you're listening on Spotify or any other podcast platform, a quick review is definitely going to help. It helps other people find us. And for those that are watching on YouTube, make sure you drop a comment down below or a question, because I would love to see what your thoughts are. If you have any takeaways, advice, insights, anything of the sort, I'd love to see what you guys have. And most importantly, I hope you guys can take away a lot from these conversations, especially if you have hearing loss or disabilities, because I want you to know that you are not limited by your condition and that you are more than just that. Thank you so much for watching. Stay inspired, and I'll see you all in the next episode.